what's incredible about dogs is they're capable of learning in a systematic way that is often referred to as fast mapping. Fast mapping is incredible because, yeah, there's not a lot of animals that can do this. And so let me kind of paint the picture for you. Let's say you have 5 boxes and you're going to number them 1 through 5, left to right. And you're asking the dog, hey, box number 3 is the one that I want you to respond to. In this case, it's the mold. And let's say it's aspergillus. And you're teaching that dog, this is day 1 of detection. You're saying, I want you to find aspergillus. Well, you have to find out what motivates the dog. We have our canine profile already. We know that this is the right dog for the job. It's the right breed, and it's time to go. Well, I can couple that toy or that reinforcer, whether it's food or it could be anything, really, anything that motivates that dog with the odor of aspergillus. So what I do is I can either, as soon as that dog smells that box of aspergillus, which is number 3, I will reward that dog instantaneously. And I will continue to do that. So the dog eventually says, aspergillus gives me my toy. If I find aspergillus, my toy will eventually come. It is the classical process of Ivan Pavlov, basically. So classical conditioning from the very beginning. You have something that was neutral, like a box with odor in it that meant nothing to the dog. And all of a sudden, these boxes mean something because if it has aspergillus in it, it can get rewarded. So it is no different than ringing a bell and saying, here's food, ringing a bell, here's food. Now, every time they hear the bell, they're assuming that the food is coming. So let's say we do that. Well, the fast mapping part is what we didn't talk about in box 1 and 2 and 4 and 5 are distractor odors. Odors that we may find in its operational environment. So in this case, a home. It could be your home where you have books in the background, you have plants. I may take a little bit of all those things and put it in these distractor boxes. So what the dog will do in that case is say, okay, box number 3 has always been my favorite box. It's the one that rewards me. I can move box number 3 to position 1, to position 5. It doesn't matter. They understand the distractor odors and they understand the target odor. Well, now I take aspergillus out and I put penicillium in there. And something amazing happens. When the dog starts to smell these other boxes, and if I'm going to introduce penicillium, I will actually put it in position 5. So if the dog goes left to right, it sniffs number 1, 2, 3, 4, which are distractors that it's never been paid for, that it knows to ignore. But when it gets to 5, the dog has never smelled penicillium. So what it does is it makes an inference that is the only thing that has changed in its environment and say, hey, do I get paid for this? And as long as with timing, you say yes, and you pay the dog, now the dog says, oh, I have a Rolodex in my head about things I get paid for now. And then I take aspergillus out or penicillium out, and I put another odor that I want the dog to find. And literally in just a couple days, you can have a library of odors that the dog understands that it needs to respond to. And that's just the foundation. It's not the sexiest thing in the world to do foundation work. Everybody wants to see the really cool things in operational environments. The truth is that foundation is what carries that dog over to being successful in operations. So we take that same drill, and now, since the dog understands that those odors essentially mean a reward, then we hide those odors where the dog's going to find it in real world. So behind walls, behind drywall, behind or in an HVAC system, any place that we've traditionally can find mold, we're going to start teaching the dog, this is probably where you're going to have success. And the dog will continue those inferences through its life. The more that you train them, the better they get. So I know it's kind of a short version of a very long process, but yeah, that's kind of how we do it.